At 1:14 in the morning, on a Tuesday in late September 2010, an FBI task force and a Ukrainian Alpha team take the door off a fourth-floor apartment in Donetsk. They move through the rooms fast. They have flown across an ocean for this man. They have his face. They have his office 3 streets away. They have years of his private chat logs. What they find is a child's high chair, a cup of tea, still warm, half finished on the table, and no one home. Someone had warned him 2 days earlier. He was gone before they landed. The men standing in that kitchen had hunted this person for years. They knew his crew stole tens of millions of dollars from American hospitals, churches, and small towns. They knew he ran a small criminal multinational from a desk above a wedding dress shop. They had everything on him, everything except his name. This is the story of a man the world knew by a single word: tank. For 15 years, 3 governments could not touch him. He emptied the bank accounts of American small businesses, while their owners watched the screen and saw nothing wrong. By night, in his own city, he was a celebrity, a DJ whose name lit up the biggest clubs in eastern Ukraine. We are going to follow him from a freezing apartment in a collapsing mining town to the trading floors of American banks 8,000 kilometers away, to a quiet street in Geneva. We are going to watch a banking security system that protected trillions of dollars fall apart in under a minute. We are going to meet the partners who built the machine with him and the political shield that kept him untouchable. And we are going to answer one question. After 15 years, after every warrant got buried and every raid got leaked, what finally gave him up? It was not the FBI. It was something he typed himself in a moment of pride that most of us share without thinking. Donetsk, February 1999. The coal mines run at half capacity. The miners have not been paid since November. Inside a cold apartment, a thin, quiet boy unboxes a second-hand computer. His name is Vyacheslav Penchukov. Everyone calls him Slava. At school, he is the last one picked, the one who gets pushed around. By 13, he has taught himself to build websites. By 14, he has cracked a copy of a soccer game, so his player runs faster than anyone else's. Suddenly, the kids who shoved him want something from him. For the first time, he has leverage. His closest friend gets into a Kyiv university through family connections. Slava has none. What he has is a computer and a city where the ordinary roads out have all closed. Then, around 2002, he finds a forum. He learns that a single stolen American credit card number sells for between $5 and $20. 30,000 other people are already on that same forum. The math does not require connections. That is the whole point. By 2003, Slava has built his first fake online store. It sells nothing. He buys imaginary products from his own shop using stolen cards, and the money lands in his account before the real cardholder notices a thing. One night, the first transaction clears. That weekend, he throws a party with vodka, food, and girls from school who never looked at him before. He pays for all of it. The bill is around $200. He walks home at 4 in the morning through streets exactly as poor as they were yesterday. Nothing on the outside has changed. He is 17, and he has found a hole in the world. He does not get greedy. That is what keeps him alive. For 3 years, he stays quiet, selling cards, scaling his fake storefronts. By 2005, he is clearing a couple $1,000s a month. He buys a car. He pays for everyone's drinks. He has learned an equation that will run the rest of his life. Skill makes money. Money buys friends, and friends, the right ones, buy something far more valuable than money. He just doesn't know that part yet. In 2007, a Russian programmer named Evgeny Bogachev releases a piece of software that rewrites the rules of online crime. He calls it Zeus. It quietly infects a victim's computer and waits inside their web browser. Slava buys a copy, so do hundreds of others. But code alone steals nothing. To run it at scale, you need a crew, so Slava builds one, a systems administrator in Ukraine, a cash-out coordinator in Moscow named Maxim Yakubets, money launderers in London, and a small army of Americans recruited by the thousands through work-from-home job ads who have no idea they are laundering stolen money for a crew in Donetsk. The American end is the cleverest part. The ad says financial coordinator, work from home, 5% commission. A wire transfer arrives from a US company. The employee withdraws the cash, walks into a money transfer office in their hometown, and sends it to a name they were given. They keep 5% and ask no questions. Every transfer stays just under $10,000, the line above which American banks file an automatic federal report. None of them know the client company sending them money is in fact a small business whose payroll was just hacked. There are 3 rules in this world. Never use your real name. Never brag about the money. Never talk about your family. Slava teaches all 3. On the forums, he is no longer Slava. He is Tank. Tank is not a hacker. He is a manager. And the machine he manages is about to do something that should be impossible. Picture the wall protecting your bank account in 2008. 4 layers. Your password, what you know. A 6-digit code from a little plastic security fob, what you have. Your home internet address, where you are. Your device's fingerprint, who you are. To rob the account, a thief needs all 4, in the same second, from your own computer. It was the most expensive defensive system in global banking. Tank's crew rebuilt Zeus to defeat all 4 at once. A bookkeeper in Iowa opens her bank's website. The address is correct. The little padlock is green. Tank's code is already running inside her browser, and it quietly rewrites the page as it loads. It adds 1 extra box, asking for her security code again. The bank never asked. The screen says it did. She types it in. In that same instant, Tank logs in through her computer, from her home, with her code. Every check passes, because every check is watching her, while it is really him. The bank thinks it is watching a customer log in. It is watching the robbery. By the end of 2008, the machine is pulling roughly $50,000 a week. By 2009, it is $200,000. By 2010, the crew makes more in a single month than the mining city of Donetsk pays its workers in 2 years. And Tank is not even the inventor. The man who wrote the malware, Evgeny Bogachev, runs his half of the world from a dacha on the Black Sea and moves between properties by yacht. The FBI will eventually put a $3 million bounty on Bogachev's head and a $5 million bounty on Yakubets. Neither sum will ever be collected. By 2009, Tank runs a small multinational. 8 people, 3 countries, most of whom never meet in person. Only Tank knows everyone. By day, he walks into a fourth-floor office above a wedding dress shop. His crew arrives at 2 in the afternoon, the hour American small businesses open their books. The first transfer of the morning lands. $500,000 from a company in Iowa. The room cheers. The week is paid for. Tank leans back and calls his wife to say he is taking her out tonight. From the outside, the most sophisticated cybercrime operation in the world looks like a tidy little IT firm. Then he spends the money. By night, he is D.J. Slava rich. The boy nobody picked plays the biggest clubs in Donetsk and flies to Kyiv on weekends to headline. The line wraps around the block. People stop him on the street. He drives a BMW, then a Porsche, then a custom Audi, windows down so the whole city can see. His wife wears mink in winter. They holiday on the coast and in the Maldives. At his peak, he is spending something close to $200,000 a month, and his own crew, only half joking, calls him father. He believes this is forever. Nobody in Donetsk asks the obvious question. How does a DJ afford all this? Nobody asks because nobody wants the answer, and it would not matter if they did. Because Tank is about to buy the one thing money cannot normally buy. In a private dining room in the spring of 2009, Tank has lunch with a man everyone calls Junior, the son of Viktor Yanukovych, the politician who, within a year, will be president of Ukraine. Tank's wife is 6 months pregnant. When the child is born, Tank says, "I want you as godfather." Yes. That is the entire conversation. No paperwork. But the agreement now carries the weight of a state. June 22nd, 2009. Bullitt County, Kentucky. At 5 minutes to 8 in the morning, the county treasurer logs in to run payroll, a job she has done twice a month for 14 years. A field she has never seen appears. She enters her code a second time. 8,000 kilometers away, a chat window pings on Tank's screen. He has 58 seconds before the code expires. He logs into the county's payroll system and adds 25 new employees. Each one is a real American who took a work-from-home job. Each transfer is just under $10,000 because at $10,000, American banks file an automatic federal report. By Friday, that money will be wired to Donetsk and Moscow. In under a minute, Tank has stolen $415,000, using the county's own payroll system to pay the people who just robbed it. But this time, someone talks. The bank sues the county, and the lawsuit becomes public. A Washington Post reporter named Brian Krebs reads court files for a living, and he has been tracking Zeus for 2 years, waiting for a victim willing to go on the record. On July 2nd, 2009, he publishes. It is the first time Zeus is named in a major American newspaper. That night, in their private chat, Tank sends Bogachev the link. "This is what they damn wrote about me," he types, because now the entire USA knows about Zeus. Bogachev's reply is 2 words. It's fucked. What neither of them knows is that the FBI is already inside the same chat. They are reading every word. They will learn the handles. They will learn the cities. They will not learn the one thing that matters, not for 5 more years, and only because of a single sentence Tank is about to type himself. Tank's daughter is born on July 22nd, 2009. Her name is Miloslava. He is proud. So he does what proud fathers do. In a private chat with a handful of close friends, he announces her birth and types her exact birth weight. He breaks his own first rule without noticing. Never talk about your family. He has just put his family into the record. That autumn, at the christening, Junior stands beside the priest. In February 2010, Junior's father is sworn in as president of Ukraine. Inside the Donetsk office of the security service, the SBU, something quietly changes. Warrants from Kyiv stop being processed. Tank's name slips out of the active files. So when an international task force finally moves in September 2010, an operation called Trident Breach, coordinated across 3 countries, the trap is already broken. 2 days before the synchronized raid, a senior SBU officer in Donetsk makes a phone call the FBI is not listening to. The Americans are coming Tuesday night. A man with a screwdriver quietly walks into Tank's office and removes every hard drive. On the night of the raid, Tank is at an amateur football match. His phone rings just before midnight. There are police cars on his street. He walks off the pitch in his kit, gets in the IUD, picks up his wife, and drives north faster than the local patrol cars can follow. At 1:14 in the morning, the task force breaks down his door and finds the high chair, the warm tea, the empty rooms. The largest cybercrime operation in FBI history has just bounced off a Donetsk kitchen. The operation does not come away empty-handed. Across 3 countries, dozens of people are arrested, the low-level money mules in Britain, the recruiters, the disposable edges of the network. They go to prison. The leadership in Donetsk loses nothing. 6 weeks later, the Ukrainian prosecutor handling the case quietly drops it. The SBU in Donetsk knows exactly who Tank is. They have his real name, his address, his birth certificate. They simply decide not to use any of it. Across the ocean, the Americans sit with a sealed indictment. The defendant is listed as John Doe No. 1, also known as Tank. They still do not have the name. For years, the file goes cold. Tank stays in Donetsk, stops using the old chat system, buys into a coal business, and tries, by his own account, to go straight. His shield holds. The state has moved on. Then, in 2014, a man with no badge opens an old file. Gary Warner is a computer forensics researcher at the University of Alabama in Birmingham. He has read the Jabberzoos chat logs on weekends for years. Federal analysts have been through every line. None of them has found a real name. He scrolls to a message he has read before. July 22, 2009. Tank announcing his daughter, her name, her exact birth weight. And Warner does the one thing no one else thought to do. He opens the Ukrainian Civil Birth Registry and asks it a single question. How many girls named Miloslava, born in Donetsk on July 22, 2009, weighed exactly that much? The answer comes back. 1. The father's name on the birth certificate is Vyacheslav Igorovich Penchukov. After all the surveillance, all the wiretaps, all the warrants, the name that 15 years of investigators could not find was sitting in a public records office the whole time. Tank had typed it there himself, in the proudest sentence he ever wrote. There is just one problem. By the time the FBI has the name, Penchukov lives in territory the United States cannot reach. They know exactly who he is. They cannot touch him. The protection takes longer to die than the secret did. In February 2014, mass protests force President Yanukovych to flee to Russia. Within months, masked men appear in the streets of Donetsk, and the city becomes a war zone. The political shield Penchukov spent years building evaporates in 8 weeks. In March 2015, Junior, the godfather of his daughter, drowns crossing a frozen lake in Russia. Russia calls it an accident. His last layer of protection is gone. He is still rich. He simply cannot spend it. He cannot travel abroad or go to clubs without a forged passport. So in 2018, Penchukov does what he has always done. He pivots. The old malware is dead. The new tool is called ICDD. It breaks into corporate networks and sells the keys to ransomware gangs. In October 2020, one of his customers drops ransomware on the University of Vermont Medical Center. Surgeries are canceled. Cancer patients lose appointments. The damage runs to more than $30 million. Penchukov is not in Vermont. He is at his desk in Donetsk. The FBI has had his name for 6 years. They still cannot reach him. Then the war empties the city. His wife and children move to a house near Lake Geneva. In October 2022, he decides to follow. He has not seen his daughter in years. What he does not understand is that the moment he leaves Russian-held territory, every border camera in Europe knows his face. October 23, 2022, Geneva. 15 years of instinct tells him to circle the block and check the parked cars. He does. He sees nothing. He has crossed borders to reach this street. At each one, a camera flagged him. The FBI has known he was moving for a day and a half. He walks up the path toward the lit kitchen window where his wife and his 13-year-old daughter are waiting. He raises his hand to knock. He never goes inside. Switzerland extradites him to the United States. He had refused to go quietly. He fought the handover through the Swiss courts, but the appeals run out. On February 15th, the man who spent 15 years as a name no one could find stands in a federal courtroom in Lincoln, Nebraska, and pleads guilty, not to one scheme, but to 2 careers of crime: the Jabberzoos years that drained American small towns, and the later ransomware that froze a hospital. In July 2024, Vyacheslav Penchukov is sentenced to 9 years in prison and ordered to repay more than $73 million. He will almost certainly never pay it. The DJ King of Donetsk, the manager who never wrote a line of code, the man 3 governments could not catch, was caught at last on a quiet street, 6 feet from a door he never reached. For 15 years, the rules kept Tank alive. Never use your real name. Never brag. Never talk about your family. He broke the same rule twice. Both times, it was the same person. In 2009, he typed his daughter's birth weight into a chat, and it became the thread that unraveled the name. In 2022, he walked across a continent to stand at her door, and it became the moment they closed the net. He could be a criminal without a name. He could not stop being a father. The date, the weight, the name. We post them too. They are how the world knows we have a child. They are also how the world finds us. For one moment, on the day his daughter was born, Tank stopped being Tank. That is exactly what got him caught. If you made it this far, you already understand why this story stayed buried for 15 years, and why it took one ordinary detail to dig it up. Subscribe and stay for the next one. Every subscription helps us keep telling the stories that were meant to disappear,